So it's time for another edition of the Agents of Inclusion podcast. Right now, we're being joined by Dave and Kaitlin as well. Dave representing the great state of Minnesota, Kaitlin representing the great state of Virginia. Two Special Olympics athletes. First things first, I have to say thank you guys for joining us. How are you?
Good, how are
I'm
you?
good. I'm
Awesome.
great. How are you?
Terrific. Thank you. Kaitlin, I want to pose this question to you to get started. We have so much to get into about the polar plunge and what it is, and we'll get there. Kaitlin, do us a favor. What sports do you participate in?
I participate in soccer, softball, and basketball.
Amazing. What about you, Dave?
I compete in golf, bowling, powerlifting in the past, and bocce ball.
And you both have participated in Special Olympics for quite some time now. David, you became an athlete starting in what year? 2004, correct?
2004. Yep.
And what drew you to Special Olympics? Were you invited? Did someone tell you? Did you find out about it? What drew you to Special Olympics?
I was just bowling with family, and my family is very supportive of me, and they wanted me to try Special Olympics, see if I would like it or not.
And I guess you've done more than like it. You've loved it. You've participated for so many years. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about the powerlifting aspect of it in a minute. Kaitlin, what about yourself? You've participated since 2013, not as long as Dave, but how did you find out about Special Olympics? What got you involved?
One of my friends, his name is Coach Jeff. He played challenger ball with me, and his son aged out of the program, so he left challenger ball, and then he asked me if then he came to visit and he told me to come join Special Olympics softball.
That's amazing.
And I came back that spring.
When you think about Special Olympics, Kaitlin, and for all the years that you've participated, what's your favorite memory?
I have 3 Special Olympic memories. One was earlier this month. I got to carry the torch at opening ceremonies for the polar plunge. And I also sung the national anthem at state games and local tournaments as well. And also another memory is one of my earlier Special Olympics memories. It was scoring the winning. I scored the winning basketball with a few seconds left at the clock.
Oh, you're like Michael Jordan, but better, Kaitlin, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm fine with that. You mentioned the polar plunge, and that's a big focus. We know we're still in winter time right now. Dave, I know you're much more familiar with winter than all of us living in Minnesota. How much snow fell recently? Almost 2 feet?
Almost 2 feet of snow in areas of the state, yeah. Plus blowing and drifting snow.
Wow, almost 2 feet of snow. For anyone who's not familiar with the polar plunge, what is it, Dave?
The plunge takes place in late January and runs through mid-March. We have 23 locations within the state. And with law enforcement in Minnesota, in cooperation with Special Olympics Minnesota, they raise up to $4 million annually per year.
And that's in the state of Minnesota, correct?
Correct, yep.
And I know that we have polar plunges that take place all over America. Every state has them. You can go to specialolympics.org. And I know the polar plunge is to help raise money for Special Olympics programs. I've seen it before. People get in their bathing suits, they jump into the ice cold water, and it's for a good cause. Dave, how many have you participated in?
163 plunges.
163 plunges into the icy water. How do you feel when you do that? How do you get prepared?
Well, there's no backing up once you go underneath the bear. When you see the water, it may be intimidating, but you still got to go for it.
Might be intimidating, but you still have to go for it. What
Gives
about
you
you,
great,
Kate? Go ahead, David. I'm
gives you
sorry.
great incentives. Plus, I had plunged in 5 super plunges down in Rochester, Minnesota.
5 super plunges.
Yes,
So
which is different from a regular plunge.
So what's the difference between the regular polar plunge and a super plunge? What's the difference?
The regular plunge, you only got to raise up to $75. Then the more you earn, the more incentives you get. But for the super plunge, you have to raise up to $3,000. And that's the second weekend in February. And it's 24 plunges within 24 hours.
Wow.
And three out of 5 super plunges were negative 45 wind chills when he started out.
What was the temperature?
Negative 45 wind chill. 3 times.
Dave, you are one of the toughest people I have ever met in life. Kaitlin, let me ask you, how many plunges have you participated in?
I have plunged in the polar plunge for 10 years. This year was my 10th year. I go all in under the water, and then I go high five the safety team.
So you're not afraid or intimidated? I heard Dave say that when it's time to jump on in, you just look forward, you don't look back. What's your approach? How do you get prepared for a plunge?
I just feed on everybody's energy.
Just feed on everybody's energy. And so we know we're still in winter time. It's not going to be cold forever. When we get outside of winter, Kaitlin, what are some of your other interests? What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite hobby to participate in?
My hobbies, I like working at Chesapeake Regional Medical. I also go for walks, and I also play sports.
I love a
And
good walk.
I like to sing in a tin theater.
Okay, I can dig it. I can't hold a note. What do you have a favorite musician or artist?
My favorite artists are Rush of Fools. They're a small contemporary Christian band, and also Casting Crowns.
Okay, I love it. What about you, Dave? When you're not plunging more than 100 times and helping to raise money for Special Olympics, what are some of your other hobbies?
Like going to the movies or playing golf in the spring and summertime with family.
I love it. Give me a
Going for
favorite.
walks.
Give me a favorite. We all like walks. So, what's your favorite movie, Dave?
I like the James Bond movies. Or
You like new James Bond, Daniel Craig? You like Daniel Craig?
yep, I do.
He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job.
And I just want to show you something that I earned from doing some of the super plunges.
Yeah, let's see it.
Is a polar bear. I'm not sure if I can.
Oh yeah. Slide it over just a little bit. There we go. Wow.
I earned this polar bear from the sheriff from Olmsted County, Minnesota, down in Rochester, for 100 plunges.
100 plunges. You might as well be a polar bear yourself. Has anybody called you a polar bear?
No.
Well, first time for everything. I think you are half man, half polar bear, because I couldn't imagine hopping in and doing more than 100 polar plunges. I have a simpler question that I want to pose to you, Dave, but I want to ask Kaitlin first. What would you say to anyone about joining or participating in Special Olympics? Why is Special Olympics a great organization for people to join?
Because At Special Olympics, everyone is welcome.
I love it. What would you say, Dave? What advice would you give to someone about joining Special Olympics?
The advice that I would give someone is that it's an inclusion movement, and also get friends and show off your skills, and that people see the ability within the disability in competing in sports.
And when you talk about friends and being able to find new friends and family, why is that something important to you, Dave?
It's important because you get the support from your teammates, your coaches, and your siblings and your friends.
Kaitlin, and for you, correct me if I'm wrong, Kaitlin, you have a twin, don't you? Yes.
Yes, sir. Her name's Ashley.
And between Ashley and other members of your family, how important is family to you? What does family mean to you?
My family is very important. They're always here for me, and supporting me, and some of them even polar plunge with me.
Who in your family has also went on the plunge with you?
My mom, my dad, my twin sister, my her best friend, my sister's best friend, my cousin. I had two cousins plunge with me, and my aunt and uncle.
That now that is a whole family affair. Was anybody scared about doing the polar plunge? Did you have to kind of tell someone to come on and join you, or did everybody jump right in?
I had to coach them a little bit. That um I told them you don't have to go all the way like I do. Just go out your just go where you feel comfortable. I also said I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I like to challenge myself.
I love it. Well, what are some upcoming challenges? Is there anything else coming up that you would like to try or attempt that you've never done before?
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Dave, what about you? Kaitlin has taken her whole family with her on the plunge. You've been on more than 100. When you've plunged, who's joined you? Have you encouraged anyone to join you?
My sister Nancy has plunged with me before for my milestone plunges, like the 80th, the 90th, 100th.
And did she do so? She jumped right in, or did you have to convince her just a little bit?
Well, I would have to say that the first time we did the plunge down in Rochester, Minnesota, I left her on the dock because I wanted to do the cannonball into the plunge into the water. So she was throwing the dock when I was in the water. So it was on videotape of her racing back to the beach with me. But since then, she's been okay. But I got a friend who's a weather forecaster up here who works for Fox 9 News. He says the plunge only takes a few seconds, you're in and out, but then it stings for 4 months. But he was only kidding.
I was gonna say 4 months. He has a lot of jokes there. Dave, you're taking cannonballs into the water. You used to power lift. You're one of the toughest folks who I have met. What got you into powerlifting, Dave?
My friend Ben Swartz, who's a trainer, and my friend Nell Kuhn-Corte, we just wanted to get in shape because I'm past my mid-50s. And I got a PR before COVID that was 290 pounds for a deadlift.
That's your personal record?
So far for a deadlift, 290.
And you're, if you don't mind me asking, you're over 50. What, you're about 57, right?
57, correct.
57 years old. So what would you tell, we have so many Special Olympics athletes just all over the world who thinks that it's only for young people, that there's an age limit, but there's no limit, right?
Special Olympics Minnesota has a young athletes program from ages 2 to 7, where they learn how to learn the motor skills and how to get along with each other. At age 8, you can start competing in sports like bocce ball and bowling, and later on golf and any other sport you want to try.
I love it. There's really no limit. I encourage everyone to check out specialolympics.org so you can go state by state and figure out what programs, what sports, what programs are available to you. Kaitlin, you've been in Special Olympics for about 10 years now, and you talked about the sports that you've participated in. What would you say or share to folks who maybe are scared to kind of dive in the way you have? What would you say to people about just having fun with Special Olympics?
Just try every sport and see which one fits you. It could be like soccer, it could be like softball, bowling, cheerleading, track and field,
It,
softball.
is there one sport that you now play or have played, Kaitlin, that you didn't think that you would be good at, but now you have so much fun?
Actually, probably basketball. I remember being little and I couldn't shoot at all, and now I can shoot the ball now.
Okay. So you're a combination of Michael Jordan and Steph Curry at the same time.
I guess.
Yeah, well, I said it. So I you don't guess, I know. And that's amazing. Dave, what about you? Were there any particular sports that you tried for the first time and you just fell in love with?
I will say golf, because golf is a learning experience with every swing. And once you start golf, you can't never really give up because you can only get better with more practice. The same goes for powerlifting.
So in golf, you have to have a lot of patience. And I love the lesson that you just brought up. When you hit the course, I guess what are you trying to walk away with? Are you trying to take the time to relax? Are you very competitive when you play golf? What's your goal when you play?
Just to get as many good shots and have it finish with a good score. I finished in second place, and first place a few times at state. But,
Dave, you're big time. Yeah,
but we do
Dave,
have tough competition in Minnesota for golf
I'm
and
sure.
powerlifting.
I'm sure. Dave, I want you to leave everyone with some final words here as we wrap up. Just talk about what Special Olympics has meant for your life and for the people around you.
Special Olympics has meant a lot to me. I also volunteer with law enforcement officers in Minnesota. I do the tip of cup events, the final legs at summer games, and with the family, extended family being the officers, I do the LTR presentations, and my family supported me. The officers that I get to meet and people in the media are great. And all in all, it's a great experience.
Talk about a little that support that you've received from law enforcement. How does it feel to know that they're also behind you and supporting?
It feels very good. It can either be a unified partner if you want them to be unified partners, or I've had family being unified partners in golf or bowling. But it's very important to have the law enforcement have your back, because they volunteer at the state games and they just have fun handing out awards and stuff.
For anyone who's listening for the first time, And if they're not familiar with a unified partner, what does that mean? Who or what is a unified partner?
A unified partner is someone without an intellectual disability, and they can be anywhere from age 8 up to my age. They can play golf with me, or bowling, or any other sports.
I love it. A supporter of the movement. Kaitlin, what has Special Olympics done for you and your family?
Special Olympics provided a place that we all are welcome. It also provided joy, courage, and acceptance.
I love it. Any inspirations for you as you continue to move on as an athlete, as a person? Is there anyone, Kaitlin, who inspires you?
My family and coaches.
And you, David, you are an inspiration for everything that you've done as well. Is there anyone that inspires you to participate in everything that you do?
My family, the coaches, the staff from Special Olympics Minnesota, volunteers.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Dave representing for Minnesota, Kaitlin representing for Virginia. Thank you so much for sharing all of the amazing information about the polar plunge. It takes place all over North America. I want to encourage everyone to go to specialolympics.org to see how you can get involved and locate your local program. It's for an excellent cause of raising money for programs, local programs, just all over the United States of America, so our great athletes can have a chance at inclusion. Thank you again to Kaitlin. Thank you again to Dave. You're checking out the Agents of Inclusion podcast right here. It's an Odyssey podcast.